Convo on a Sunday to do a post-game interview, hopefully a celebratory post-game interview at the coveted Convocation Center at Ohio University as the Cardo's Pizza staff brings in the pizzas. I'm ready to eat. You haven't seen me much this year doing this show, but I am the Madman Mike Davis. I broadcast for the Eastern Eagles, and sitting beside me is the legend T. Fred. He does games for the Waverly Tigers regularly, but have you done some Indians games this year?
Yep, did a couple Western games, did a couple Eastern girls games,
Yeah,
and
I got to do one of them with you.
one Piketon girls game, I believe, or maybe two. I can't remember. No, two.
Well, the one was Piketon Eastern girls, and that was the power outage game where the lights were flickering. We were barely able to broadcast on YouTube. I think we lost the stream on the radio, but that was an interesting time. I've never seen anything like that happen. But anyway, we've come to the end of the season, but we started with 4 Pike County basketball teams. We're down to 2.
Right.
The Western Indians fell last night to the Fairfield. I knew I was going to do that.
Yeah.
Fairfield Lions. There's so many different Fairfield this, Fairfield that. But the Fairfield Lions, that game was hosted at the Waverly campus gym last night. That was broadcast by Hayden Milliken and Ryan Volgamore. And T-Fred, I got to actually tune in to the radio side of that and listen to that broadcast on my way home from our game in Jackson. And let me tell you, Hank and Ryan sounded great. Now, they were on fire.
Yeah.
The excitement in both of their voices throughout the entire game really got me pumped up, and I kept trying to text Hank during the game. I know I was probably bothering him, but they just sounded really good, and it got me excited to listen to the game. And then I figured out a way to watch the huddle and sync it up with our play-by-play on the radio, which made it even nicer.
Yeah.
But, the Western Indians, they fell to the Fairfield Lions 45-39, thus ending the Western Indians tournament run for the 2024-2025 season. And Hank, unfortunately, not able to join us tonight on the broadcast.
He sent me some stats.
He sent them to me too. I've got them here.
All right.
And you correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like he's got Drew Hagee with 11 points, 6 free throws, one a 2-pointer from the field, and then one 3-pointer. Then you have Landon Owens with 4 points. You had Cameron James with 4 points. Alex Sullivan had 2 points. Now the one that probably got me the most excited was Foster Davis.
I tell you what, he's on fire.
He was, and that's what I heard Ryan and Hank talking. Get it to Foster, get it to Foster, get it to Foster. He was on fire. He'd pull up and he'd get those threes. He finished the night with 13 points, and I understand he is a junior. He'll be a senior next year, so he gets one more year with the Western Indians. Cameron and Drew, both seniors. I'll be graduating this year, both 1,000-point scorers. Probably destined for the Western Indians Basketball Hall of Fame over there in Latham. But I was very impressed with Foster Davis. I have been all season. I got to call 3 Western Indians games. I got to call the Western Piketon game. And that's where Foster held a big boy Bo scoreless. I mean, he was just on him. I was very impressed with him then. I also got to call the 2 Western Eastern games throughout the season, which were both nail-biters. Came down to the wire, and Foster was really he's got a bright future with the Indians for his senior year. So I can't wait to see him play next year.
Well, we wish all the seniors luck. Afterwards. We're down to 2 teams, Eastern with a great win.
Oh, boy.
You'll tell us about it. But they beat Eastern Meg 66-62, and they'll play Valley at noon on Sunday. And, of course, the Waverly Tigers defeated the Jackson Ironmen 51-49. That was a nail-biter, and I'll be telling you guys about that game. But, man, that Eastern game, when we saw the first score that you texted. Or Hank texted, both
of us.
I was like, I had to look at it because I hit Trey. I said, Trey, is that right? You guys got down by 20 points
Yes.
and come back and won. That's kudos.
We never had the lead in that game until 50 seconds to go off the
Man.
3-bomb from Tucker Leist, as Rock and Raj calls him, the Spider-Man. That put us up, and then Aiden Warner, he got the ball and got a breakaway, wide open layup, and he put the final nail in the coffin, making it 66-62. And I was actually speechless a few times in that game last night. I plan on talking about that a little more once Declan gets here, because I do think he's coming. But that was probably one of the, emotionally for me, one of the most up and down roller coaster games that I've ever been a part of. There was a game, and I thought, honestly, calling Eastern football this year, I thought, I don't know how we can beat that victory against Connaughton Valley, to get to the regional finals. The roller coaster that was emotionally for me. But that game last night, let me tell you, I wasn't calm by any means, but I was speechless at a lot of points. But Rock and Raj almost stroked out a couple different times. and I've been one of the things with Roger, Roger works for me. I actually just came from work, which is why I'm dressed like this. But we could go back and talk about it, and then just listen to the emotion, because we go back and watch our feeds, at least I do, and just listening to his voice, call that 3-bomb by Tucker Leist, and then the final 2 points by Aiden Warner, the steals, the deflections. I mean, that was such an emotional game that I'm exhausted today. I'm exhausted by what we had to deal with at work. It was a nonstop work day. But I was just exhausted from last night. We got home kind of early. I was able to watch or listen to the Western game, and I was actually able to watch the Valley game on Jackson's Huddle, Valley versus Portsmouth West. They advanced to beat Portsmouth West, so they're going to the Convo on Sunday. But I still couldn't sleep. I laid there at night. I just thought about it. I hate to admit it, but I was very nervous yesterday at work about the game tonight. I don't know why. I just knew it was going to be a tough battle. But once the kind of the adrenaline it just kind of wore down, it was just wow. And I'm still exhausted today, as I know those Eastern Eagles, the Eastern Pike Eagles, are feeling it today, which is why we're probably only going to get Declan. But they're all ready to go. He even said he's tired. He's ready to go to bed. But,
well, that's a hard-fought game. I mean, anytime you got to make up 20 points, I mean, the defensive effort has to be unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And that's not even counting putting the ball in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
But to step back on the Western game briefly, they had their chances. I mean, they lost, like you said, 45-39. That's right, wasn't it?
Yeah, 45-39, yeah.
45-39. They missed 11 free throws in that game.
That's what Hank texted me, and Hank and Ryan talked about that at the end of the game, and that's very important. That's very uncharacteristic, especially out of some of the Western's got some good shooters, and honestly, that's kind of what I love about tournament basketball. Now, if our game was different, I would probably feel different today, but the tournament basketball, it is what it is. Yep. If it's your night, it's your night. If you're off, you're off. Yep. And it's a one and done, and it just that's just the way the cookie crumbled for the Western innings. I hate it, because I was really looking forward to see Western take on South Webster. Both you and I have got to watch the South Webster Jeeps play this year, T-Fred, and they're good, but I think Western at their peak would have given them a pretty good run for their money.
Well, you're right. One thing I always tell my players when I was coaching, you don't have to be great except that night.
Yeah.
You could be lousy throughout, up and down, yo-yo the whole season, but that night of a tournament game, that has to be your night. Like you said, you may have some off nights, but that's where your defensive effort has to be constant, because if you don't have that, then you are going to get beat, because if you're not stopping them and you're having trouble scoring yourself, it's going to be a short night, a long night for you, and short tournament run. But
You're absolutely right.
Eastern's defense, obviously, heard that they pressed quite a bit in that second half.
Yes.
And that really turned the game around.
Yeah, and we can talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, after Eastern Reedsville got out to that huge start, it was 18-0,
Mm-hmm.
and then they kind of slowed down, and we kept up the defense the whole game. I mean, from start to finish, there were some lulls a little bit, and things that we weren't expecting, but we kind of worked them down, and then they got their halftime break. And, we had pulled up within 3 at halftime. And then we come back in the third, and it was another just bam, bam, bam by Eastern Reedsville. And that expanded the lead. And I mean, we got back to a 20-point deficit at one point in that third. And then we just kept chugging away. And we'll talk about it when he gets here. But, I just watched Declan. And they just started chipping away. They turned up the defensive effort. There were a lot of fouls called. It was a really good officiated game very well. There were some questionable calls, but there always are going to be. So that's no fault of anybody. It was just some things that we saw that maybe they didn't see, or that we didn't see that they did. But we were able to just kind of hang on, and there was so much production from everybody last night, especially with someone like Carson Peters and Wyatt Richardson. They just chipped away until those final 50 seconds of the game. And I was talking to Rick Ash, one of the broadcasters, Total Media broadcasters over from that region, and he said, "You guys just wore them down." He said, they're a really, really tough team, and you wore them down. You were real physical, and you just wore them down.
Well,
But enough about that.
Yeah. Well, Waverly played them over at the Warren Classic, and we jumped out on them.
Yeah.
And we hung on for dear life. I think we wound up winning by 7, but we were up by like 22 at one point. And then they caught fire, and I could see how they scored 106 or whatever.
Oh yeah. Their very first game was 106 to 70 something against River Valley.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I try not to scout, during the regular season, but when tournaments, it's a one and done. So I'm looking at the teams, like with Adena, I'm looking at Adena and how they're better than their record. But I'm looking at Reedsville Eastern, and they have I think it was 13-8.
Sounds right.
They're like the 8th seed. I got it right here, but I just felt like they're probably better than their record for sure. And then looking at the scores of some of those games was like, holy cow. So I start watching some Total Media video of them, and it's like, wow, these guys they're the real deal. I mean, they're really, really good. So I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised that it was a good game. I didn't expect that kind of start in the first or the third, but I knew it was going to be tough. And their big man, Gavin Murphy, he class act kid. Yeah. I actually had a conversation with him after the ball game, a couple of the players, and but he scored 34 points on us. I mean, he couldn't miss.
Yeah,
everything he was throwing up, it was just going, and he was making these moves that just were unreal. Yep. But go ahead and finish your thought, T. Fred, and then we'll take a break and come back.
Yeah, I mean, like when we played them, I mean, they had size, they had speed, they had athleticism. And if we hadn't jumped out on them early, we'd have had a tough time, because, I mean, like I said, they come roaring back. But you texted me, and I think at the start of the fourth quarter you were down 10.
Yeah.
So even at that, even though you broke the lead down in half, that's still, you're going in the last 8 minutes down 10. And that's, boy, you got to really step it up.
Oh, and they did. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and take a break. We are awaiting the arrival of some of the Eastern players. I believe just going to be Declan. But when we come back, we'll finish talking about our games and, see what the night brings us. So you're watching and listening to the X's and O's Coaches Show on Hank FM WXIZ. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Are you craving delicious pizza? Look no further than Cardo's Pizza of Waverly. With our convenient mobile app, ordering your favorite pizza is now easier than ever. So whether it's dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, we've got you covered. Experience pizza perfection at Cardo's. Download the Cardo's Pizza app today and visit us at our new location. With dinner and entertainment at Cardo's Pizza of Waverly, if you love pizza, you'll love Cardo's.
The Glockner family of dealerships offers the top brands: Chevrolet, GMC, Honda, Toyota, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. Glockner has an amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Ask about the Glockner Guarantee. 12-month, 12,000-mile new vehicle premier coverage and 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage included on qualifying used makes and models. Credit issues? No problem. Glockner Auto Credit will finance your future, not your past. Shop online at Glockner.com. At Glockner, we make it easy.
At Quick Stop Lube and Tire, they are geared up to keep you on the road. Located at 627 Southwest Street in Piketon, they're your trusted auto repair shop for over 30 years of experience. Open 6 days a week, they proudly support Pike County schools in our community. From oil changes to alignments, new tires, and even mobile tire service, they've got you covered. Wherever you are, call 740-289-4268 or stop by Quick Stop Lube and Tire, where great service meets community pride. At Hometown Chevrolet, they're proud to support local sports in our community. They call it Hometown Advantage. Not only are they cheering for your team, but they're offering unbeatable deals like free oil changes for life and a 10-year, 150,000-mile warranty on most vehicles in stock. Browse their new Chevrolet inventory and discover amazing discounts today at yourhometownchevy.com. Because at Hometown Chevrolet, it's all about hometown people, hometown prices. That's the Hometown Advantage. Come see them in Waverly right on U.S. Highway 23.
You're listening to the Pike County X's and O's Coaches Show, live from Cardo's Pizza in Waverly, right here on Hank FM 100.9 WXIZ, and brought to you by Cardo's Pizza of Waverly and Hometown Chevrolet.
Alrighty, welcome back to the X's and O's Coaches Show, brought to you by Hometown Chevrolet and Cardo's Pizza of Waverly. As the deck man has arrived, but he's going to get him some pizza. T-Fred and I have already had pizza. Jimmy, the A1 stream camera guy, is getting him some pizza as well. I want to thank Jimmy for all the hard work that he's done this year on all the streams.
I just want to say this pizza is yummy-licious.
It is. It's amazing. And if you haven't tried it, you got to come up here and try their pizza. Try all of their food. But I would recommend on the pizza, it's really good when you get it and take it home.
Yes.
But it is absolutely amazing the minute it comes out of the oven.
Yep.
It might burn the top of your mouth, but it is fantastic. As I'm trying to let my wife know what station we're on. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's worth the burn on your top of your mouth because it tastes that good. But we enjoy Cardo's Pizza very much. I want to thank them for allowing us to invade their space here every week. Been a little up and down, getting teams and players and schedules and different games. So, they've kind of went with us, and we were glad that they were able to do that. We got to do some axe throwing this season. That was pretty cool. I was terrible. Declan was actually pretty good. We get in the arcade, shoot baskets, get, father-son, T-Fred versus Lake and Gullet, whatever you guys did, when I wasn't here. But it's been a fun time, and we appreciate that. So, T-Fred, what did you want to go over next?
Let's just go over tonight's schedule and last couple nights' scores to kind of catch everybody up with what's going on. For tonight, Wednesday, Division 6 district semifinals. North Adams, Rock Hill at Jackson, Huntington and Peebles at Jackson. That's back-to-back games, 6 and 8:30. Division 7, Green playing Notre Dame at Waverly High School. Southern Racine playing Manchester at Waverly High School. That is also 6 and 8:30. And then girls basketball, Division 3, regional semifinals. Union is playing Avon Lake at Zanesville at 6 p.m. Division 5, regional semifinals, girls. Memphis versus Union Local at Logan. Portsmouth versus Tusky Valley at Logan, Tuscarora's Valley. and Fairland versus Waynesville at Lakota East, and that's girls basketball. Scores from last night, we had some great games, but we had a lot of activity.
A lot of
A
activity.
lot of activity after the game. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, Division III boys, Miami Trace. This one kind of shocked me. 79, Warren 71. I thought Warren would beat Miami Trace,
Mm-hmm.
but they did not. Miami Trace still unbeaten. Waverly with a big win, 51-49. We'll talk about that in a minute. Uniota 60, Fairfield Union 44. That'll be Waverly's opponent tomorrow night at 8 o'clock at the Convo. The big upset of the night, and we'll talk more about this, Wheelsburg 45, Fairland 43, and that was at the downtown gym. And the nightcap, Chesapeake 53, Eastern Brown 40. In Division 6, it was the Eastern Eagles over the Eastern Megs Eagles, 66-62, and a great win for the Eagles. And Valley 41, West 36. So those two teams will meet at noon on Sunday at the Convocation Center. And then, of course, the two games up on the hill last night, Division 7, South Webster won easily over White Oak, 70-34, and Fairfield beat Western 45-39.
So let's back up and talk about, you mentioned Division 6, and Division 6 is Southeast District is divided into two. So there's Southeast 1, Southeast 2. So we're Southeast 2. Southeast 1, North Adams is the top dog. They were seed 2 in our division. But the kind of the story of the Southeast 1 bracket, I think, is the Huntington Huntsmen.
Uh-huh.
And the Huntington Huntsmen, they upset the 3 seed last week, Sims Valley.
Yeah, that's a big win.
And when we were at our game after we defeated Adena, that's what everybody was talking about. We were celebrating our win, but then we're talking about how because we've seen Sims Valley twice this year, and last year Sims Valley is who knocked the Eastern Eagles out of the tournament, and Huntington, they defeated Sims Valley. So that was kind of the talk of the night. How they advanced, and who do they play?
Peebles.
So Huntington. So Peebles is probably. I think they're probably pretty well matched with Huntsman. So it could be anybody's game. I'm actually going to try to find that one when I'm done because, I've got some history calling some Huntington games, and they're another team that can surprise you, and we wish them all the best in the Southeast 1 bracket.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bear Urick, Rick Urick, I call him the Bear.
Yeah.
He does a great job. He really
does.
And he's got Huntington playing some great basketball. Peebles, Josh Airy, I coached him, had the privilege to coach him when I was at Peebles. And Josh knows his stuff, so I think that's going to be a dogfight. It's at 8:30 tonight at Jackson High School.
Well, I'll be tuning in to watch that one.
Yeah, and in the first game, it's North Adams at Rock Hill. So if you're a basketball guru, just go to where there's schedules. You can go to SEDAB, Southeast District Athletic Board, and you can find out where and when and all that good stuff as far as who's playing who and where we're at and what time. But if you're a basketball junkie, this is a great time of the year.
It really is. And just like last night, all the games that were just so close in our area, Jackson High School, Southeastern High School, that's where you guys played. And, Waverly, they really stepped up. And I feel a little bit for Bo Arnett, the AD. He had to manage 2 separate gyms, one up on the campus at 220 and the other one, the downtown gym. Yeah. He had games going all night. And then, we talked about activity that happened not on the court, on the court, but maybe after the game, is he had to deal with a major a brawl that broke out at the downtown gym. Now, in my position, we were already talking about that today. And we're trying to get the video to find out what happened, but I mean the things that I've heard, that's not good.
No.
I have no idea who started it. I have no idea what happened yet. I'll find that out eventually, but we just can't have that kind of stuff.
No.
And what made it worse is I think the spectators came off out of the the bleachers onto the court, which makes things a million times worse. And then you have law enforcement that has to try to contain this and figure it out.
And they're outnumbered.
Oh, but yeah, for sure. That's what I found out this morning talking to the chief deputy, that the sheriff's office had to get called, Waverly had to get called. They already had officers there, and it was a melee. And again, I think most of it's probably on their huddle cam. I don't know if the full video is still up, but I've seen snippets. I'm going to get the full video, but it's just that can't happen. And now I do applaud whoever was doing the PA announcing, getting people back into their seats, stay off the court, all of that, and then making sure everybody stayed there until law enforcement could arrive so we could figure out, because the rumor mill right now says that maybe somebody got injured pretty good, maybe an official got injured, and we hope nobody got injured, and it's just something that's not good. So not really a good look for either team. And again, I don't know who started what, so I'm not going to pass judgment on anybody, but just things that needed to not happen. And especially having spectators come from the bleachers onto the court make things 10 times worse, and just things like that don't need to happen. So it was a wild night for basketball, so to speak. But then that event actually, to me, overshadows the fact that the Wheelersburg Pirates upset the Dragons. Now, the Dragons, they're a tough team. Another one that I've seen, in our coverage area that is someone to look for. And we, looking at them, I thought, okay, they're going to really give a good run for Division 5. And what's that going to look like? Are they going to face the Minford Falcons or who? But, Berg, you can't count the Berg out, and that's probably something that Eastern Eagle fans don't like to hear, especially Declan over there. But, we beat the Berg at Berg earlier on in the season. But yeah, just a great time for basketball. It kind of reminds me of March Madness, and a lot of those games can be found over on Total Media Sports YouTube or all across all of our stations. We have so many, so we're going to have tons of coverage for this time, and it's an exciting time, in my opinion, T. Fred, and I think that you feel the same way.
Well, it is. Lots of great matchups. I just flipped through my brackets, and one I just stopped on, Memphis and Zane Trace. That's going to be a heck of a ball game.
Oh, that is, yeah.
I mean, it really is. There's several good games. That game's the 28th, all right, and it's at the Combo, and it is a 6:15 start. But speaking of that, you can go to OHSAA or SEDAB, either one. But there's games at the Convo on Thursday, Division 4 games. That's this Thursday, the 27th.
And that's when you'll play.
6:15 and 8. Okay,
Yeah.
and Waverly plays Unioto the second game at 8.
Mm-hmm.
In the first contest, it's Meigs and New Lexington. Now I don't have I can look them up, but I'm just going to kind of. And then Friday you got Division 5, 6:15 game, 8 o'clock game. And Sunday you have Division 6, a 12 o'clock game noon, and a 2 o'clock game noon. And then Sunday, March the 2nd, Division 3, a 4 o'clock game. That's just that Division 3 is so small that they're going to play like another region team. In other words, it's not the same bracket. It's like a bracket from the East, because there's not very many teams. And then also at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, March 2nd, is D7.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be busy. And then the following week, and I got this stuff from Nathan Childers, but thanks, Chili, for sending it to me. But anyway, you got the regional games, on March the 6th, Thursday, March the 7th, Friday, and then Saturday, March the 8th, and Sunday, March the 9th. You're going to have not only semifinal games and regional boys final games, you're going to have girls state semifinal games.
Excellent.
And even the boys, there's going to be a couple regional games and final games and state semifinal games. So all this is at Ohio University, a great place to watch a game, and it's an hour away. From this place, from where we're at. So I mean, just go over there and hang out. I've went over there and just sat all day and watched game after game after game. And it's never boring. It's just a great time.
Yeah, they don't clear the gym. I mean, you buy a ticket, I think it's for all day, right?
It is.
I mean, things have changed, especially, they've spread out these divisions. They went from 4 to 7 now. And, that's why Division 3 is so small. I think there's only one Division 1 school in this area, and that's Logan.
Yeah.
And so, that by doing that kind of spread things out just a bit. But speaking of the convo, I actually want to talk to the deck man here in a few minutes. We're going to go ahead and take a break. You're listening to the Pike County X's and O's Coaches Show on 100.9 FM. Back in 2 minutes.
Are you craving delicious pizza? Look no further than Cardo's Pizza of Waverly. With our convenient mobile app, ordering your favorite pizza is now easier than ever. So whether it's dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, we've got you covered. Experience pizza perfection at Cardo's. Download the Cardo's Pizza app today and visit us at our new location. With dinner and entertainment at Cardo's Pizza of Waverly, if you love pizza, you'll love Cardo's.
The Glockner family of dealerships offers the top brands: Chevrolet, GMC, Honda, Toyota, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. Glockner has an amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Ask about the Glockner Guarantee. 12-month, 12,000-mile new vehicle premier coverage and 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage included on qualifying used makes and models. Credit issues? No problem. Glockner Auto Credit will finance your future, not your past. Shop online at Glockner.com. At Glockner, we make it easy.
At Quick Stop Lube and Tire, they are geared up to keep you on the road. Located at 627 Southwest Street in Piketon, they're your trusted auto repair shop for over 30 years of experience. Open 6 days a week, they proudly support Pike County schools in our community. From oil changes to alignments, new tires, and even mobile tire service, they've got you covered. Wherever you are, call 740-289-4268 or stop by Quick Stop Lube and Tire, where great service meets community pride. At Hometown Chevrolet, they're proud to support local sports in our community. They call it Hometown Advantage. Not only are they cheering for your team, but they're offering unbeatable deals like free oil changes for life and a 10-year, 150,000-mile warranty on most vehicles in stock. Browse their new Chevrolet inventory and discover amazing discounts today at yourhometownchevy.com. Because at Hometown Chevrolet, it's all about hometown people, hometown prices. That's the Hometown Advantage. Come see them in Waverly right on U.S. Highway 23.
You're listening to the Pike County X's and O's Coaches Show, live from Cardo's Pizza in Waverly, right here on Hank FM 100.9 WXIZ, and brought to you by Cardo's Pizza of Waverly and Hometown Chevrolet.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Pike County X's and O's Basketball Coaches Show, presented to you by Hometown Chevrolet and Cardo's Pizza, live from Cardo's Pizza here in downtown Waverly. We are joined, yes, T. Fred.
Got a score.
Okay, North Adams.
North Adams leads Rock Hill in the second, but I didn't get the score. Hank sent it to me, but no score. North Adams is ahead.
I kind of figured that they're the number 2 seed, and I know that this guy right here was wanting to face North Adams at some point, maybe in the regional finals. What are we thinking? Oh, let me unmute your mic.
There we go.
We are joined by Eastern Eagles senior, number 32, Declan Davis. And the reason I wanted to bring him on is, well, he's my son, so I can get him here. And throughout the whole season, those Eastern Eagle fans have listened to me talk about goals of Declan, what things mean to him. But I figured it would be better to come from his mouth as to the emotions that were flowing last night. And again, the Eastern Eagles victorious over the Eastern Eagles, 66-62, and you didn't have a lead in that game until 50 seconds to go, Declan.
No, it was a very exciting game. Reedsville took the early start, and they were hitting shots. Got to tip our cap to them. They came out of the gates, but we just stayed positive. In a tournament game, tournament basketball, teams are going to make the runs. You can't just, shy away from it. You just have to buckle down and keep playing basketball.
Well, and, you guys really did buckle down. As we talked about earlier on the broadcast, they got off to an 18-0 start.
Yeah,
Wow.
it escalated really quickly, I'll tell you that.
What went through your mind when you look up at that scoreboard and it's 18-0?
Well, at one point I was like, man, this can't be right. They just
Yeah.
got 20 points on us. But
Wow,
yeah, it escalated really quick. You gotta tip your cap. Well, number 4, he was hitting the shots. So
Gavin Murphy, yeah.
he was pretty good.
And so you it was that 18-0 run, and then Aiden Warner kind of got the scoring started. He made a free throw.
Yeah.
missed the first one, made the second one, or made the first one, missed the second one, something like that. But I mean, it was at one point it was 21-1, 21-1.
Wow.
And then Carson Peters, he got on the board. I believe he got the old-fashioned 3. Was that in the first
I think it was in the second, because I think the first was just 21-1.
Yeah, well, at the end it was 23-11 to end the
Might have been
first.
his
But
thing,
yeah, I think Carson Peters was the next one to kind of come out scoring. So, you go from 21-1, and you score 11 points in the first, and then that second hit. Now you guys scored 15. But what the big story is about the second is they only scored 6. So take us through the defense and what your plan was to stop them.
Well, they were hitting shots, so we knew we had to ramp up the pressure. We couldn't just keep letting them just score with will. So Carson Peters does a fantastic job. He knows his role. He knows what he's here for. He's a brother to me. I love him. You tell him to go get the ball, he's going to go get the ball.
Well, and then, so like I said, the half, we go to halftime, they're 29, you guys are 26. So, you almost erase that deficit. So you're at halftime, and, kind of going through the first half scores, Tucker had 10, and Aiden had 3, you had 4. I think Cade already had 6 at that point, and Carson Peters had 3. So yeah, he hit that, and he had the and one, in the first half. So then the second half starts, and they go on another big run. I think it was another 15. They got up almost 20 points in that third. Am I right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So I mean, what are you thinking at that point?
You guys came back a couple times.
Came back twice. Yeah. What do you think? I mean, what was going on in that third? You guys they scored 25 points, and you guys scored 18.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just tournament basketball. Teams are going to go on the run.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the first time I've experienced that. So I kept trying to tell my guys to just stay positive. We're going to have our moment. We just have to be ready for it and keep the defensive pressure up, because I think our defense last night was amazing. Definitely helped us get back into the game, and honestly, just staying positive. Basketball's a lot of it's mental.
And
yeah, it is.
Going into that second half, or in the second half, I like to call you guys the dynamic duo, mostly because for the vast majority of you playing basketball, with the exception of 3 years, you and Tucker have been side by side, and you and he both came alive in that second. Yeah. And you said the defense, but I've got Tucker scored 14 in the second half. You scored a 16 in the second half, and your other players kind of coming off the bench. Wyatt Richardson, he got a lot of rebounds last night. Yeah. So you're coming back. You're chipping away. So tell us that. What are you thinking there? What's going through your mind?
Well, what was going through my mind was just. Me and Tucker just had to keep doing what we were doing. Me and Tucker have played a lot of basketball together, so we know how to take over a game.
Yeah.
And Wyatt knows his role. Wyatt knows what to do. Wyatt is a defensive lockdown. He'll get every rebound. He'll stop whatever player you tell him to stop. What was going through my mind was just keep doing what we're doing and pray to the Lord, and everything good's going to happen.
Well, so I want to talk about that too. We're talking about emotion. So one of the things I've said all season is that your goal is to make it to the Convo.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean to you, and why is that one of your goals?
Well, I've always considered myself a team player. I've never really been, looking for personal goals. I've wanted to have team success, and for as long as I can remember, since I was little, my number one goal for basketball is just to make it to Athens, and that meant everything to me. It felt like a lifelong dream just came true to me, and it overwhelmed me because I was doing it with my brothers I grew up with. That was actually whenever I first moved back over, me and Tucker got together. We went out to dinner, and we talked about how we wanted to go to the Convo for our last year, and it meant everything to me. It really did.
But Mike, I can vouch for his feelings on that because I never got to go. We lost. At Waverly, we lost the sectional championship 2 years in a row to the same team, Washington Courthouse, And I literally bawled my eyes out that my senior year. Not that I knew it was my last game, but I wasn't going to get to play at the
Yeah.
Convo. I mean, that's everybody's big dream. And my brother got to play there. I mean, and it's just a special moment in a player's life and a team, a coach. I've got the coach in over there, in the district, and but it's a big moment, and it's great that they get the chance to go over and play, and they will appreciate that. They will never forget that moment. I guarantee it.
Well, and that kind of brings me to my next point. So you guys are on a roll. You're chipping away. You're starting to hold them. Their shots aren't falling. Your guys' shots are falling. But then there's a foul call. It's on you. It's foul number 5.
Yeah, that was an emotional time of the game for me right there. It was a lot.
Well, and those of you who go back and watch the broadcast will know that the madman stayed silent. Rockin' Raj said, "I hope this isn't the last time we see him on the court." And it hit me at that moment. That could be it. And I look over and I see you just super emotional. I didn't realize this, but several people in the crowd were also emotional. What did you say to your team?
Well, if I'm being honest, I at first I wasn't saying anything.
I saw your head down, and
it took me like a 2x4 to the face. It was like, holy crap, this could. I'm not proud of it, but there's a little bit of worry in me. And then head coach Ethan Lyst, he came over to me, and if it wasn't for him, I probably would have still been emotional the rest of that game. But he told me to just pray to God, and he told me that everything's going to be okay. And I remember listening to him, taking that in, and I prayed, and I started, getting the confidence back and started trying to be a leader for my group. And I just started trying to keep everyone positive. Sherman Salisbury, I was telling him to make sure everyone's up, excited, ready to go, and that our dreams are going to come true. And they did.
Oh, and then little help from Carson Peters and Tucker. You told them, go get it, and they said, we got you.
Yeah. Me and Carson Peters actually talked about that today at school, talking about how yesterday throughout the game I kept telling him, just keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. He's doing great. Good things are going to happen if he just keeps doing it. And Tucker, like I said, me and Tucker just look at each other and we know when we have to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like we had that connection last night, and he's my brother. I love him.
So
That's tough pill to swallow when you're wanting to be out there with
Oh, yeah.
others, and you're out,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, oh man, please let us win.
Yeah.
Please let us win.
Well, I mean, I hate even saying this, but I'll be honest. I was to the point where I was just going to chuck my headset and just walk away. When you were out, and it just didn't look like, because I think you went out, they were probably down maybe 5 or 6. I have to go back and watch the YouTube, but I was just ready to be done. My emotions had gotten to me, but then as they start chipping away, like I get back in it. I can see you because I'm watching you. I can see you. You're getting more excited. Then Tucker hits that 3 to take the lead, and then Aiden Warner gets that layup for 2 to just kind of finish it off. I want to know what was going through your mind the minute the buzzer actually was 0.6 seconds. Everybody celebrated just a little early. But what was going through your head, Declan?
Run out there and tackle anyone I could see. I was ready to just celebrate with my team. It was funny. I looked back and I seen Mom and Nana running out there in the court, and the game was still going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just it took me all by surprise. It was amazing. I just wanted to run out there and celebrate as a family.
Well, and you got to do that last night, and now it's on to the Convocation Center.
Yes, sir.
And I know both your grandpas would be proud. We're going to be at the Convo with you when you're taking on the Valley Indians. So,
yes, sir.
You got anything else?
Well, looking forward to it. Ready to keep playing some basketball.
You want to move on, don't you?
Of course, always.
At Ohio Dominican University.
ODU, baby.
So, all right.
Yeah.
T-Fred, you got anything?
Great stuff. Just listening to you guys talk. That's what it's all about. That's why this time of year, tournament play, is a special time of the year. And it's not only high school, it goes to the college level too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, if you're a basketball junkie, it's just great. And speaking of that, Hank, it's 31-31 at the half.
Oh, wow. Rock Hill coming back.
Adams at the half. So thanks, Hank. But that's great stuff, man. That's why you play the game right there.
Yep. All righty. Well, we're going to take our final break. We'll be back here in a couple minutes to wrap up the X's and O's Coaches Show of Pike County for the season. So we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Are you craving delicious pizza? Look no further than Cardo's Pizza of Waverly. With our convenient mobile app, ordering your favorite pizza is now easier than ever. So whether it's dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, we've got you covered. Experience pizza perfection at Cardo's. Download the Cardo's Pizza app today and visit us at our new location. With dinner and entertainment at Cardo's Pizza of Waverly, if you love pizza, you'll love Cardo's.
The Glockner family of dealerships offers the top brands: Chevrolet, GMC, Honda, Toyota, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram. Glockner has an amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Ask about the Glockner Guarantee. 12-month, 12,000-mile new vehicle premier coverage and 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage included on qualifying used makes and models. Credit issues? No problem. Glockner Auto Credit will finance your future, not your past. Shop online at Glockner.com. At Glockner, we make it easy.
At Quick Stop Lube and Tire, they are geared up to keep you on the road. Located at 627 Southwest Street in Piketon, they're your trusted auto repair shop for over 30 years of experience. Open 6 days a week, they proudly support Pike County schools in our community. From oil changes to alignments, new tires, and even mobile tire service, they've got you covered. Wherever you are, call 740-289-4268 or stop by Quick Stop Lube and Tire, where great service meets community pride. At Hometown Chevrolet, they're proud to support local sports in our community. They call it Hometown Advantage. Not only are they cheering for your team, but they're offering unbeatable deals like free oil changes for life and a 10-year, 150,000-mile warranty on most vehicles in stock. Browse their new Chevrolet inventory and discover amazing discounts today at yourhometownchevy.com. Because at Hometown Chevrolet, it's all about hometown people, hometown prices. That's the Hometown Advantage. Come see them in Waverly right on U.S. Highway 23.
You're listening to the Pike County X's and O's Coaches Show, live from Cardo's Pizza in Waverly, right here on Hank FM 100.9 WXIZ, and brought to you by Cardo's Pizza of Waverly and Hometown Chevrolet.
All righty, welcome back. The Pike County X's and O's Coaches Show, presented by Hometown Chevrolet, and brought to you right here live from Cardo's Pizza of Waverly. And we want to thank Declan Davis for coming over. He didn't take a pizza like I asked him to, so I'm going to have to get it myself to take one home because I'm hungry. But, yeah, it's good stuff talking to him. And, I wanted to, like I said, I wanted him to say those words that, those of you who followed us the whole season have heard me say, but it needed to come from him. So very important to get that out there. And he did want to mention he lost both of his grandpas within the last, 18 months and been really hard on him. So, yeah, he wanted to talk about that, but I just didn't know if he wanted to get that out, but he wanted me to mention it. So, anyway, Eastern Eagles are going to play Valley on Sunday. But now, T-Fred, we didn't get to talk about your game last night in an upset with the Waverly Tigers.
Yeah, Jackson beat us 59-45 in game one. Now, it was a little closer than that, Mike, and but, we got close at the end, and then they kind of pulled away from us. But last night, the Tigers jumped out early. They go up 12-7 after one, and you could just feel like, hey, the Tigers are here to play tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So defensively, they were sound. They made it very hard for their Jackson likes that dribble drive stuff, and they like to drive to the basket. And they made it very, very hard. Well, you did listen to
look at it. He's bringing in 2 pizza boxes.
But, we started off good, and then we still we finished a little sluggish there in the second quarter. They outscored us 14-9, and it was tied 21-all at the half. And I told Trey, my buddy, I said, man, this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough. Whoever can stay the course and not turn the ball over and, hit some key shots, that'll probably take care of that business. Well, anyway, third quarter, again, defense, but we managed to pull a 33-32 lead after 3. So, you take a deep breath. It's tight. I mean, I love these kind of games. I would rather broadcast 100 of these games than, even if my team wins and it's a blowout. I hate blowouts. I don't care. I just don't
I agree with you 100%, T-Fred, 100%.
Well, anyway, coming down the stretch, we got a little stagnant on offense in the second half, but they hit a couple threes. They hit 4 to be exact in that second half. Jackson Carroll hit 3 of them. One of them was big because it tied the game at 49. It was the last points Jackson got. But Cage Alexander, the freshman, he ended up with 22 last night to lead all scorers. But he kind of took over. I mean, they kind of went 5 out, and they did run some screens on the ball for him. But down the stretch, he hit 5 out of 6 free throws.
That's important.
And then he hit the game winner, which turned out to be the game winner with like 3 seconds to go. He went off a high screen from Sawyer Myers. Well, it was one of the twins. I think it was Sawyer. But anyway, he went off the screen and come back off the screen left, which he's left-handed. He had Teagan Hurt, who had a great game also. He had 11 points, and he had 3 3-pointers. And I'm thinking, I can see it, as a broadcaster, you see, like, is he going to throw it to Teagan? Is he going to shoot it or what? But Cage just, after the game, he just said, hey, man, I felt like I had it. And he did. He had it about a 14-foot jump shot and nailed it. And it was just like all the air came out of Jackson. And then time, it was 2.2 seconds left, I believe, on the clock, and they were going to throw it long and try to get a shot off, but Waverly defended it well. Great job.
Nice.
Coach KB called a timeout and set up the defense, and they threw it in short, and I knew there was no way it was going to happen. Then they won it, and it was just not even close. So we shocked the house. We're 9-15. They were 17-6. Well, they were 17-5. Now they're 17-6, and they had already beaten us. Now we play Uniota tomorrow night. Uniota's 21-3, 21-3. But they did lose to Jackson, 60-46.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that tells you. I mean, it don't mean a whole lot because it's a different game. But at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll find out what we're made of because Uniota's a very good ball club, and hopefully we can win, and hopefully Eastern can win. And we'll be partying on to the next round.
Oh, absolutely. And, I rolled my eyes at Uniota. I am going to be rooting so hard for the Waverly Tigers tomorrow. And you're going to have that game over on right here on Hank FM, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'll make sure to tune in to the radio stream, and I believe Total Media is going to have these games, all of these games, on YouTube. Not sure of the broadcast combinations yet, but we will have these games on YouTube, but I will be sure to tune in to your broadcast because I would love to see nothing more than the Waverly Tigers defeat the Uniota Shermans.
Yep, I'm with you.
And last night's game, too, is as I was at Jackson, I'm looking across the way, and I see a senior banner of Garrett Legg. And, I've watched Garrett grow up for, many years, and he's another one I wanted to see go to the Convo, and I know he wanted to go. So that was kind of bittersweet. But I'm really, I'm happy for the Waverly Tigers, but I'm sad for Garrett Legg. But, nonetheless, let's hope the Waverly Tigers can put it to the Uniota Shermans tomorrow night.
Well, hopefully, we'll get the first step done, and you guys will finish up at noon on Sunday.
Yeah, a whole day's worth of basketball, several days, worth of basketball, and we're taking on the Valley Indians. Started watching their game last night and just kind of seeing, what we can expect and what they're going to try to do with us and what we can do, and I can't wait to watch the game. I mean, let's put it that way. I don't want to say if I have a good feeling or not. I just want to. I can't wait to call the game. Can't wait to see everybody on that beautiful court at Ohio University, and hopefully we can advance. Now we do things a little different. I think D4. You guys will stay at the Convo, right? Yeah. I think 1 through 5 stays at the Convo until states. We actually will move to Ohio Dominican University if we're victorious on Sunday. That means we were district champs. We would move on to ODU up in Columbus, right. And I believe most of our games are going to be there. And if we can make it through regionals, which I have every confidence in the world in Ethan Leist's crew, I believe that the only game that D6 will play at Dayton is the state championships. Right. I don't think they're going to do the Final Four in the state at Dayton. No, that's only going to be one game. Right. So again, one of the things that happened when they expanded the divisions. So a little new this year again. I mean, they took out sectionals because they not as many schools. So except for Division 6, I think we're the ones that kind of probably got larger because we have 2 Southeast brackets. Yep. Southeast 1, Southeast 2. We're Southeast 2, and we would be district champs if we win for our district, and whoever wins the Southeast 1 will be district champs for theirs. So, yeah, just a little different this year, but again, it's going to be very, very exciting. So, T-Fred,
and it'll be exciting for you guys because you have not broadcasted a game from.
I have not, and I have thought about that. I can't. You guys tell me stories, you and Rock and Raj both, about how cool it is. So I can't wait. And I wanted, if Eastern would have lost last night, and I would have had the opportunity to go call a game at the Convo without Eastern, I wasn't going to do it. Right. I couldn't do it without my boy being there. So it's very special to me too. So I can watch him. It's one of the things that people have asked me, this year. Why do you want to do it this way? Why don't you just want to sit and watch your son in his senior year? Well, this gives such a unique perspective. I have a record of it, and what better way than to call out everything that they're doing? So it's a better way for me to concentrate on the game, focus on the game, what I'm seeing, taking the stats. So I just had a blast, and it's a great way to enjoy basketball doing it this way. It can be stressful at times. Jimmy can attest to that, but it's just really cool. So it's going to be even more special on Sunday at noon. We get the first game, and if you want to hear an emotional dad who's going to be calling this game regardless, tune into 95.9 FM AM 660 Total Media Total Media Radio app, and there's a website you can go. I'll throw that on all my socials as it gets closer. But yeah, it's just a very unique perspective.
Great stuff, and it's a joy. And I'm going to take Hank with me on our broadcast.
Does he know that yet?
Yeah, he knows.
Okay,
it.
Good. I didn't want to tell him.
And he knows it, and he's never been there, and he's in for a real treat because he's never been there to a game or anything.
Oh yeah, I've been to several games. I went to college there, but yeah. I mean, it's definitely a cool experience. So I'm glad I didn't know he hadn't been there for any games. So that's awesome that you guys are doing that. Hopefully, you guys get a big run.
Well, we shall see, but good luck to the Tigers and good luck to the Eagles, and hopefully we'll be partying on.
Yeah, well, with that being said, that is going to do it for the Pike County X's and O's Coaches Show for this season. Now, if anybody advances, I'm not sure about pep rallies, what we did with football. That's always up in the air. But as far as this show goes, this is the final show. I'm happy that I was able to close out the season with you, T-Fred. The times I've been here has been great. I've watched it every week. It always looks like a lot of fun. Great food over there, thanks to Cardo's Pizza. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. So that's T-Fred. I'm the Madman. Good night. Have a pleasant tomorrow.
Are you craving